Hey everybody, Nathan Ronen, CFA here with an update for Level 2 candidates. This is all for Level 2 candidates who may be taking the exam in May, August, or November of 2024 or in any other year. Here's some questions that I get asked, or major questions that I get asked that I'd like to share with you, specifically candidates who are retaking the Level 2 exam for the second time, third time, and sometimes even more. So if you're interested in hearing this, please press the subscribe button now and the notifications button so that we can continue to put these updates for you and that you can have access to them as I post them on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. Well, I tend to get this question very often, and people are frustrated. I get it. They're frustrated, and to be honest with you, when it was Level 2, I got frustrated myself when I didn't pass it the first time around. So it always helps to know, or learn from the mistakes of others so that you don't repeat them yourself. And one of the things I generally find is candidates will come to me and they're in the CFA program, and it could be anything. They just finished Level 1, took Level 2 and failed, or they're taking Level 2 for the second or third time and they failed. Or they had put it on, on a hiatus for a little while. They put it on, they came back to it after 5 years of being away, and they all asked the same question. Why did I fail? I don't understand why I failed. And the first thing that I do when I have these discussions with them, whether it be on WhatsApp or over the phone or whatever, is I say, well, how did you prepare for it? And what I generally find in about, I never really quantified it exactly, but I'd say about 90% of the time is that people use the Level 1 approach to pass Level 2. Lots of QBank questions. They did a prep provider's QBank. They did maybe some CFA Institute, blue box questions or end of chapter questions. And then they figured it worked for them at Level 1. How bad could it be at Level 2? I mean, Level 2 just builds on Level 1. And they go into Level 2 with the same approach. And I'm just mentioning some things that they talked about in terms of their approach. It can also be, I just read prep books. I didn't really read the curriculum. And I find all of these things that may have worked at Level 1, but seem to just fall apart at Level 2, and people get frustrated. And I say to them, well, why did you expect that if you did that at Level 1 that you would definitely pass Level 2 with that same approach? They're totally different exams. Level 1 is random multiple choice questions. And Level 2 is item sets. Yes, I understand that the item sets are made up of choices A, B, and C, but they're all based on a scenario. They require more analytical skills. They require more analysis. They require more insight into what's being discussed. And each question is worth double the amount of points that it was at Level 1. So why would you think that using random multiple choice questions at the end of the chapter or in a third-party prep provider's QBank or even in the CFA Institute's QBank and just, reading prep books is going to get you there at Level 2? Well, I did that at Level 1. I was in the 90th percentile. I say, okay, well, if you get an A in chemistry, doesn't mean you're going to get an A in physics. They're both sciences. So what? They're totally different mindsets. They require totally different focus, strategy, foundation, structure of how to prepare. I mean, same thing with mathematics. You can't say that, hey, I got an A in algebra, so I definitely get an A in geometry. They're totally different, ways of thinking too. So you got to keep this in mind when you're approaching the Level 2 exam. It's not Level 1. And pursuing a Level 1 approach just because it worked for you at Level 1, trying that at Level 2 and even at Level 3 can be disastrous. Not for everybody. I'm not going to say everybody's going to fail, but for most people, the majority of people are not going to be successful with that. Okay, what I recommend to you is look at the exam, do some research around, find out from other people what they say worked. Don't just go to the first two that sound the same and say, okay, I look, you're creating such a small sample size of 2 people or 2 anonymous people in some kind of, forum or Reddit or whatever. And they say, oh, look at what people did. And I will tell you, if you want direct, Level 2 is a completely different exam. I've said that before. The approach has to be different. I would figure out who's actually giving this exam, the prep provider or CFA Institute. CFA Institute? Do the CFA Institute give me any resources? Oh, yes, they do when I register for the exam. Well, why would I not want to use them? Their exam, their resources, I should do that. But then, are they giving away the house? Are they going to tell me the questions on the exam? No. Why would they? So you know what? How do I tie all of this in together? Bing! That's what you need to think about. There's so much material. How do I bring this all together? That's when you consider getting some help. There's no shame in getting help. If you pass, that's all people care about. That's all you really care about at the end of the day, is moving on to the next level, learning. I mean, you should never deny that you want to learn something. You want to learn the material, you want to understand it, but you want to create the best atmosphere for passing the exam, which is learning the material, but knowing how to bring it up to the exam level. And that's what I'd be happy to help you do. But you got to understand, you can't use the same approach that you used for level 1 for level 2. That's my solid advice. And number 2, if you're taking it for the second, third, or fourth time and you're using the same methodology over and over again, I mean, I say this all the time, you're using the same prep books because you got some kind of, life insurance policy on it that you could use it for as long as you want without having to pay again, I mean, then your focus is not correct, okay? Using the same approach over and over again, expecting a different result, is literally the definition of insanity by Albert Einstein. Look it up. So you should really reconsider what you're doing. You only have 6, times up at bat, at level 2, and if you don't pass it on the 6th time, you're out of the ball game. You can't even continue with the program. So ante up, value your time, value your energy, value your money, and get into the program, study hard, get some help to isolate for you how to know things and how to integrate things. And I think that you're going to find a much more different approach that you used than what you did at level 1, where you just sort of might have studied randomly and you did okay. A lot of times people also have trouble with level 2 because they didn't build the foundation at level 1. They used shortcuts, they used prep books completely, they got through level 1. Well, look at the statistics. Only 20% of the people in the CFA program end up getting the charter for one reason or another. A lot of them just walk out because they can't make the connections from level 1 to 2 and 3 because they never built that foundation at level 1. They basically built a very narrow tree with a very thin trunk. Okay, you want a trunk of the tree to be very good. You want that foundation to be very good so that it can grow. Same thing with the CFA program. I'm happy to help you out. My name is Nathan Ronen. Check me out at chalkandboard.org. That's CHALK. and AND, board, BOARD. That's Nathan Ronen at chalkandboard.org, O-R-G. And my telephone number is there, my email is there. You can reach out to me on WhatsApp, however you like. I'm happy to help you through level 2. Don't make level 2 a recurring exam. It is painful. Let me help you get through it. Have a great day, and if you're taking the exam very soon, good luck.